Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? We're gonna switch it up, man. Nine heavyweight talk right now. We're gonna talk about this Charlo versus Harrison fight that's gonna be taking place in a few hours here, man. Wanted to give my quick prediction and just what I think about the fight. Um, Wait for y'all to get back up in here. I was just live, man. So hopefully I get that crowd right back up in here. I was just live a few minutes ago. So wait for you guys to get back up in here. You guys haven't caught the what I thought about the Daniel Dubois versus Karatoro Fujimoto fight. I just went live on that, so check that out. And I will be talking about Efe Jagba versus Lago Kiladze. Try to get to that late tonight, or I'll probably end up doing it in the morning. All right, so I'm gonna wait for you guys to get back up in here, man. And we're gonna talk about this Charlo versus Harrison real quick. GG back up in this thing. Felix Nunez up in here. What's good, y'all? Trying to wait for that crowd to get back up in here. I had a nice little crowd in here, man. So I'm trying to see people jump back up in here before I start on this. But before I talk about the fight, man, as people come back in here, these press conferences had me cracking up, man. All their pressers, man, had me cracking up. Both guys were a little bit, Harrison was playing the role of I'm just happy to be here in their very first fight. 'Cause I went back and even watched those pressers. He's kind of had the I'm just happy to be here type of vibe. You know what I mean? I even think one time he said, I'm just here to get paid or something like that. And man, has things changed. But once you get in there and you and another guy fight each other, man, things are going to change. Attitudes are going to change. And Harrison seems as if he's in. People saying he's out of character. I mean, first thing, the dude is from Detroit, so he has some shit talking in his blood. You know what I mean? But at the same time, though, when somebody doesn't respect your victory, like I don't think Charlo comes across like he don't respect Harrison's victory. All right. And even after the fight, like they're in the ring and they were arguing about it after the fight. Charlo claims that Harrison was pretty much saying that I didn't win the fight, so to speak, and Harrison's like, man, why are you lying, man? You know what I mean? So I think right then and there, after the scorecards were read, that's where I think Harrison kind of changed. So people say he's out of character. Well, shit, I guess he's been out of character minutes, literally moments after their first fight was over. You know what I mean? So I won't look at it as him being out of character, man. I just look at it like him feeling disrespected by Charlo, because Charlo really comes across like I can't believe I lost to this dude. Like you can tell it eats him up. Like I cannot believe I lost my title to this cat. You know what I mean? Yeah, that was funny. I don't play video games because I don't like to lose cornball. They was going at it, man. Uh, so I went back. I watched the first fight a few times. I even watched Harrison's his losses. I watched Charlo's last fight. Went back and watched some of his fights. Charlo style has changed, in my opinion, over the years. He's a little bit more aggressive. I like when he fights loose, man. Like in the his last fight against what was the dude named Kota or whatever that dude's name that he sparked with a right hand. Um, was it a right handed whatever shot he landed? I think it was right handed landed dude against the ropes. Dude went out. But he seemed very tense in the first Harrison fight. He seemed very tense, very tight. Like every punch he had bad intentions written on every punch. And on the outside looking in, or just hearing that sounds great, right? Throwing every punch with bad intentions, but he wasn't throwing no filler shots. He wasn't trying to just throw a touch jab and then I'm throwing the jab, but I'm really setting you up for the left hook after I throw the right hand for the jab. Then I'll come in with that big left hook. Everything was just like, it was so predictable, and he was walking in straight lines. Harrison was just letting his punches flow. He was much more fluid, much more loose, kind of carefree with his style, man. Just letting his hands go, pivoting out, moving, clinching when he had to. He fought a good tactical fight. Now, people like my wife, she thinks that Charlo won the fight, and a lot of people do, include Charlo. He was loading up pretty much on everything. He was missing and getting countered. Now, when they had this little program on, forgot the name of it, but Fox has done a great job promoting this fight, in my opinion, with the face-to-face meetings, the little face to face thing they had, like the gloves are off, like they do in the UK, or how the HBO used to do. Forgot what it was called, Face Off. So they did that. Then they had this other little program where they had both fighters. They were showing like both each fighter watching the fight over on the big screen, giving their depiction of what they thought that happened in the fight. And when I was listening to Charlo, he kept saying like, "Okay, I'm being aggressive," talking about the things he was doing. He was missing, loading up, and then when he would get hit, he would sit there and say, "Yeah, but that didn't hurt. I kept coming forward." It's like, bro, it doesn't matter if it didn't hurt. He was punching you in the face, and you didn't score. Though that counts. So I think Charlo is coming off as of he's coming off like he didn't hurt me though. Cool, but punches bounced off your face, bro, and you didn't score in situations, certain situations. Okay, um, I thought it was a close fight. You know what I mean? Like my wife didn't think that Harrison took the fight from him or that type of thing, but I thought it was a very close fight, man. Uh, and Harrison, he just like I see, fought more loose, man. He was letting his hands go. He wasn't putting mustard on every single shot the way that Charlo was doing. You know what I'm saying? So I think Charlo needs to work the body, man. Stop headhunting so much. Work the body and be kind of patient. And almost be patient to the point to where you're throwing out a hard thudding jab, but where you're almost baiting Harrison to be the aggressor. And Harrison fights that he loses, well, the fight with damn, what's that tall cat, that 6'4" fucking junior middleweight he fought? Willie Monroe? No, that's not Willie Monroe. What's that cat's name again? Willie Nelson? He had a hard time dealing with his jab and how big he was, but Harrison was still getting good work in. Then the Hurd fight, I thought he was piecing Hurd up. He just started his stamina. With Harrison, to me, it's not so much just his chin, his stamina starts to go. I've heard George Foreman say this. I don't know if he's the one that coined it, but I've heard him say it from way back in the day. Stamina can make a coward out of men, or fatigue, I'm sorry, can make a coward out of men. And sometimes when you're just dead tired, man, I mean, a person can literally go, and some fighters will fall. So if his stamina is up there, Charlo's in for a tough one. Because Harrison shown he can take good shots, but he can't really take, or he has shown his the two losses, he can't take good shots when he's tired and he's exhausted. Exhaustion. I think Charlo needs to get him to mix it up. Kind of mix it up with being patient, but then make Harrison fight. Get him into a continuity of just throwing and throwing and throwing, and let's see if his stamina's there. Let's see if he gets exhausted, and work the body while you're in the process of doing it. So if it does work, he's really going to fall apart in the later rounds because you already went to the body. You already invested into the body. Now you just need to see the return, and I think he will get the return if he can force him into a firefight, even if it's just in spots. But once later in the fight comes around, all that body work will come to fruition for Charlo. You dig what I'm saying? Use a jab, work the body, be patient. Don't try to, come in straight lines every single time, man. You know what I mean? Set up different shots. If you want to land a big headshot, like I say, work the body. Kind of like we did against the Coda dude, where he kind of was going down, but he threw a shot over the top that caught him. Mix up your shots. Stop being so predictable. You know what I mean? Because if he's coming here predictable, tight, tense, I think it could be another decision type fight. Now, usually when somebody gets outboxed in the first fight, I usually go with that guy again. I'm just not 100% sold on on him not getting fatigued against a quality opponent. I'm just not ready to just say I got Harrison. I'm just not. I mean, I think Charlo will find a way to get to him late, and I think he's gonna stop him late. Usually, I go with the guy that won the fight, that was doing great boxing, that knows how to use his height and length. And I damn near want to pick Harrison, man, but I'm just not sold. And I think he's going to win rounds. I think he's going to outbox. I think he's going to pepper him with some shots, but I don't know how long he can do it for. How if he can sustain it this time around. I'm just not quite sure, man. But I give him the advantages in a few different departments. So it's not like he's just uh not worthy. You know what I'm saying? And he got a victory of the dude the first time. I'm just not sure he can duplicate it, man. I'm leaning with Charlo on this one, y'all. I think he's gonna do some of what I said. Um, I think he won't allow Harrison to tie him up. I think he'll fight out of. I think he's going to fight out of clinches. He's going to fight out. I think he's going to just bring the fight to him, and he's going to do it in a strategic manner this time around, trying to make Harrison miss, bait him in, put pressure on him, go back and forth, just kind of mix it up, and I think he's going to end up catching Harrison. So I'm gonna go with Charlo. I'm gonna go with Charlo, man. Let me see what y'all brothers talking about, man. Koyamada says, I'm going for Harrison here, real dude. And I like Harrison, bro. I like his story, you know what I mean, from a Midwest guy. I remember there's some footage on him way back in the day when Emmanuel Stewart invited him to a Klitschko camp, and him and Wilder was playing basketball, playing 1-on-1. This was like shit 7 years ago or something like that. So Harrison's a tough kid, man. The dude was a solid amateur, grew up around, the crunk, you know what I mean? Tough kid, man. Tough. Harrison is tough. And hey, he might have just the number to beat Charlo. He may not be able to beat the other top guys of the division, but he know how to beat Charlo. And that may be right. But I just think Charlo's gonna find. Man, if you just keep pressure on Harrison, there's just a chance of him getting fatigued, man. It's just a chance of getting fatigued and not being able to hold on and be able to hold on and carry out the rest of the fight. Little 9-5, what's good, bro? Felix Nunes says I'm rooting for Tony, but I think Charlo going to KO him. I think Harrison lost the first fight. Little 9-5 says he a bully. That's why, yo, if he can punk you, he gonna look good. If he gotta fight, he confused. And that's one. And see, like I said, bro, there's so many things that Harrison has the advantage on. Where at first I was like Harrison, but then when I broke down the fight, I went back and went back and watched some of their fights, even some of the fights he won, like the Ishe Smith fight, um, the two losses. I'm just watching them. I'm like, man, Harrison can fight, man. The dude can fight, but if there's one knock on him, if there's one criticism, it's just his stamina, bro. It's just his stamina. And Charlo didn't look like he was gassing. He just looked like he ran out of ideas in the first fight towards the end, to where he thought, you know what, he ain't quote hurting me, so I know they're gonna give me the victory because hey, he didn't hurt me. And if Charlo comes in there with the you ain't hurting me, but I'm still getting peppered in the face, then he will lose. But I think he's gonna just bring a fight to Harrison. But Harrison, man, has a longer reach. He's taller. Man, hey, but man, these are the type of fights I love, man, where that prediction just ain't solid. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go with Charlo, yo, 55-45. I'm going with Charlo. I think he's gonna find a way to get it done. But man, Harrison can turn you. He can use the jab. He can outbox, quick counter puncher. Not only is he a quick counter puncher, he can get off first quick as well too. You know what I mean? Um, a lot of great attributes, man. It's just the stamina, yo. It's just the stamina. Trick no T. Hold on, let me see. Let me go up. Davon D2. He says, my money on Harrison. That's what's up. Mr. Doc, what's good, Mr. Doc? He says Harrison, the better technician, in my opinion, but he can't get greedy. I agree to an extent, Mr. Boxon. If he gets into exchanges or if extends himself, Charlo could knock him out. Trick Notes, he says, Mr. Boxon, I reach out to the legends and get interviews. I have spoke to Kirk Johnson earlier today, and also me and Michael Grant texted Courage. I remember that his last name hard to pronounce, but and are supposed to link up next weekend. Bro, it's funny you bring up Kirk Johnson. He was my favorite heavyweight prospect in the late 90s. And I know he ended up getting injured. He went into that Vitali fight way overweight. But man, I'm talking about like that 220-pound Kirk Johnson, yo. I'm talking about that Kirk Johnson. You know what I mean? In the late 90s, he was my favorite prospect for heavyweights back then. Because it was like, speaking of Michael Grant, um, John Ruiz. It was a whole bunch of guys, in that era, that late 90-ish era of heavyweights, man. But Kirk Johnson was my favorite. He was quick, explosive. He had good hand speed, had a little bit of pop on him. You know what I mean? I'm talking about short, like the little baby Afro Kirk Johnson. I ain't talking about the braids Kirk Johnson. I'm talking about baby Fro Kirk Johnson. Man, Kirk was my favorite, man. And I was pissed off that when because he took a fight on Fox Sport Net. You guys remember the Best Damn Sports Show? He had took a fight on there. I think before he had got into with Vlad, was it Lou Savarese? I forgot who he fought. I think it was Lou Savarese or something like that. But I just seen the weight gain, and I just like, damn, man, damn, wish he didn't have that injury, man. But Kirk was one of my favorites. So I gotta check that interview out, bro. I didn't know you made videos. Let me go ahead and do this for you, Trick. Let me, cause you good money, man. I see you on BFTB channel all the time. I can't mod up right now, but I'm gonna check that out, man. I've done a few interviews on here, Trick. If you go to my playlist, I've done some interviews with Eric Molina before he fought AJ. Did an interview with Andrew Ruiz Jr. going into his Parker fight. Did an interview with some prospects, Junior Five, Cassius Chaney, all heavyweight prospects. Who else did I interview with? Callie Meehan, former contender in the early 2000s. His son, he has a son right now, Willis Meehan, who's a big, heavy-handed ass dude at heavyweight right now too. And a few other guys. I can't remember everybody that I interviewed with, but Curtis Anderson, salute, man. Kurt Sugar up in here. He says Charlo better keep his cool. He has to box. Harrison has a sneaky right hand. Yes, he does. And he was landing it on Charlo at will. Not only counter, but getting off first. And I thought that was giving him problems. Like, man, you gotta pick your poison. You can't let this dude get off first and be able to counter you effectively. He should only be able to do one, if anything. You can't let him do both, man. Like, I don't know if you just joined Kurt, but Charlo has this thing about him, like, well, it didn't hurt. He didn't hurt me. Like when I watched that episode of them talking about the fight on Fox, when I forgot the name of that program, but they're like, the guys are watching the fight on the big screen and they're giving their illustration of what happened, depiction of what happened. And Charlo whole thing is that didn't hurt. And I'm just like, that's not the attitude to have. But yeah, bro, it probably didn't hurt, but bro, you're getting scored on. And Charlo just, I see Kurt talking about it. He thinks that the Hatley and Lubin KOs was a fool's gold for Charlo, because Charlo was the brother that was like the boxer. Now I heard my man BWTM Sports cook on this earlier. Shouts out to him from the UK. He was saying that he thinks that it's not so much that it's just he thinks it's just his technique has got sharper as far as now he's sitting down on punches fully. And that could be a point to some degree because sometimes it could just be your mechanics that's stopping you from really landing hard shots. Like I remember I did mitts out in California. I was doing some mint work when I was out in California last August, and I hooked up with my man L Supreme 88 on Instagram. He's the one. If you see my man Fred from Barbershop Conversations, he be training Fred. Very good trainer. Dude can fight his ass off too. But I was working mitts with him when I was visiting out in Cali, and I was throwing the right hand. And he was like, "Man, when you throw that right hand, bro, throw it to where when you throw the right hand, your left shoulder is going to be in back of you." It was just one little thing, and I was popping the mitt hard as hell. Now you dig what I'm saying? I was turning my hips, but I wasn't turning my shoulders fully into it. Now I'm just some novice guy on the internet, right? So just think if you have a world class fighter and you make one adjustment, that one is not so much that. Now I do agree that you're born with power, but sometimes it can just be your technique that can add just a little bit more thud to your punch. So I will say that maybe the team that Charles with, whatever, they probably showed him some things like, hey man, do this instead, or turn like this, or snap it like this. That's add to his power. But I think he has so much more abilities, man, and just being this tight high guard, come forward and put mustard on every single punch I throw, and you know, nah, man, I think he needs to be a little bit more loose. Now, Roger said this fight's not going 12. Young Jeff says, funny how y'all saying Tony can't bang with Charlo like he's some kind of KO artist. He only got 16 KOs in 33 fights. Yeah, bro. And Harrison has 21 knockouts. You know what I mean? The dude got some pop. Um, I'm just edging Charlo. And I'm not even confident in the pick, but I just think he's gonna find a way. But Harrison, I won't be surprised if he wins. I definitely won't be shocked because shit, he won the first fight. But I definitely won't be shocked because he's taller, longer reach. He can outbox. He doesn't seem to get bullied on the inside by Charlo. Seems as if he's during the face off. And I know some of you guys are like, well, shit, Mr. Box, if you going all that, why aren't you going for him? I just don't trust his stamina all the way, bro. I trust his outboxing. I trust his hand speed. I trust his jab. I just don't trust his stamina when he's in a dog fight. I just don't trust it. Black Ham TV, salute, man. K Black up in here. What's good, K Black? Mr. Doc says, is it fair to say the two most likely outcomes are Charlo by stoppage or Harrison by decision? Yeah, I think those are the safe bets right there. Trick Novelty says, Mr. Boxing, Mel Charlo has that mindset 24/7. I saw him at the Galleria in Houston, and Mel was walking around throwing punches. It was like he was looking for someone to say something fly to him. Bro, I brought that up before years ago about people were asking me who are some of the guys that I like watching are non-heavyweights. And I said, man, it's something about them Charlo boys, man. Them dudes seem like they ready to fight in the mall, at church, at grandma and them house, in the boxing ring, at the gym, at Target, at Walmart. Them dudes seem like they always on edge. Seriously, and I was like, man. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me that he was at the mall or at the Galleria or wherever in Foot Locker throwing punches. It doesn't surprise me at all, at all. They just have that type of energy. They just have that type of energy, man. So that don't surprise me at all. Them dude, I can see them dudes at Sunday service, man. Shadow boxing. Is it 201? Chris, my man Chris says he had a year to prepare for Charlo. Yeah, because shit, this fight is exactly a year since they fought? Yeah, I think, yeah, exactly a year, like 364 days or something. I think it's like damn near a year since they fought. Some people don't believe the ankle injury or whatever, but hey, man, whether we believe it or not, they fight in a couple hours here, man. So we going to see what they do. But hey, man, I'm gonna jump off here. I'm starting to get repetitive and redundant, man. That's what I think about it, y'all. Um, all of our predictions, everything we saying right now, everything gonna be answered tonight, man. Everything will be answered tonight. I'm gonna go with Charlo, finding a way to get it done late in a exciting fight. And if it's exciting as I think it's gonna be, I may just go live again tonight. My man Black Hand TV says inactivity might get to Harrison. It might. It could be some rust there. You know what I mean? No excuses. I seen a little face off and they was saying no excuses. Any excuses tonight, Roy? Any excuses tonight, Tony? Any excuses tonight, Jermell? I don't want to hear no excuse from either one of these fellas, man. But hey, y'all, my man D Style up in here. Salute to my man D Style Box. Go subscribe to his channel. He says you check out my projection, Mr. Boxing. Nuh-uh, bro. Last vid I seen from you, D Style, you was flaming what's the dude's name? Unrivaled boxing or whatever. Them dudes, man. Them dudes are caping for Dillian White using illegal gloves. Russ Abner came out and said something about it. The other dude, what was the other dude that got the interview with Joe Habib? I seen Beeb's interview with Revis trainer. The dude used illegal. I mean, the dude used gloves that were not inspected, man. And the dude was trying to have a debate with you, didn't know what the hell, just so confident saying the wrong shit. Just confident as hell. I mean, pompous, nose up in the air as he's saying it. I could just picture how he was, the look on his face as he was trying to have a debate with you, and I'm sitting here like, this dude's wrong. But I'm gonna check that out though, D Style. He says projection is not a post, not vid. Oh, he says if you ever need, he says if you ever need, you make you a projection. Email me, bro. Okay. All right, bet D Style, bet. Projection is a post, not a vid. Okay, well I'm gonna check it out, man. But y'all enjoy the fights tonight, man. Y'all be easy, y'all. I'm gone.